campuses from our NYU Shanghai and NYU Abu Dhabi campuses to share more information about their programs. We have time for them to give an overview for each program and plenty of time for questions and answers. So how things will work, we have the question and answer box open at the bottom of your screen. So please feel free to utilize that to ask questions throughout today's session. We've got a team of people on hand to help answer those questions. Please also let us know where you're joining us from, what program you might be interested in the chat. We'll turn off the chat in a little bit so that we'll make sure that we get all those questions answered in the Q&A. Closed captioning is available for today's session as well if you need that, so you can click on that button at the bottom of your Zoom controls. And you will also receive a recording. You heard we're recording today's session, so following today, you will get an email with a link to the recording and a chance to provide any feedback or ask any additional questions. And so we're just really happy to have you with us for this panel today. So we're going to dive right in. We are going to start with Arnold, who is joining us from the NYU Abu Dhabi campus to talk about the Stern-specific programs that are available on that campus. So Arnold, I'll have you share your screen and give your overview, and then we'll have Hauj and Yao Yao join us from NYU Shanghai to give an overview. So Arnold, I'll turn it over to you. You're muted. I can't quite hear you yet. There you go.
Oh, I am laughing because how many years have we been doing this, and I still, fail to unmute
all
myself
the time.
every time. Yeah, it's crazy. What I was trying to say is hopefully everyone can see my presentation that's up. That's great. So I'm Arnold, Arnie Longboy, and I'm the executive director for marketing, recruitment, and admissions for the Stern at NYU Abu Dhabi program. So I represent admissions for that program, and my focus for today will be just on that program. That is the one program that we currently have here at Stern at NYU Abu Dhabi. So, before I go into this next slide, there are a lot of reasons. So some of you here might be interested or considering an MBA, a Master's in Business Administration. And there are a number of reasons why you might want to consider that. The big reason often stated is that you want to either accelerate your career, or something to do with your career post MBA, or potentially you have this idea of progressing your business, a startup that you have. That's usually the number one reason why someone would want to do a Master's in Business Administration. And why this one in particular, as opposed to maybe the one that we have in New York, is for those of you who want to either accelerate your career or start your career or start a business in the UAE or in the wider Middle East or North Africa region. So that is the kind of student candidates that we are looking for this program in particular. So this is a one-year program. It is different from the two-year program that we have in New York, and it was built specifically to cater for needs of the region. We were hiring our own faculty, Stern faculty, that are going to be well-versed in terms of business practices here, but also know how to do business globally. A lot of the case studies that they're going to be using are also going to be very regionally focused. And again, it's to help prepare you for once you graduate and you enter, say, a company here or you start your business here. This is the curriculum. You should see this right now. It's a one-year program. It starts in January. The next intake we are recruiting for is January 2026. We are just finalizing the class now that starts in January 2025. The class starts in January 2025 is actually our first cohort. So some of you might be thinking, or what are the kind of career outcomes of this program? Ask us again in about a year and a half, and I'll be able to answer that question. But what makes this program great, and again, it's part of the name that's in the program. It is a Stern MBA. So you are going to be backed by the strong brand of Stern Business School, and all be part of that network of alumni of 110,000 alumni that we have in over 130 different countries as well. But going back to curriculum really quickly, starts in January. From January to May, you have your core courses, and you also do what we call the Stern Signature Project. That is, in essence, a project that you'll be doing with about 5 other students at a company here in the UAE or somewhere in the region. Then from May to August, you actually go and take courses in New York City at our main campus. So you get a taste of that campus too, and get to see what life is and how business is done in New York through a couple of our programs, kind of courses that we have there. And then from August to December, you come back to Abu Dhabi, where you do your electives and you can specialize in 2 of several different specialization areas that we have on offer. What do you need in order what are the application requirements? You do need an undergraduate degree. It doesn't have to be in business, doesn't have to be in economics, but you do need an undergraduate degree from an accredited university and have the equivalent of an undergraduate bachelor's degree in order to be considered. We do ask for a standardized test, and you have a number of choices of tests that you can submit. But the common ones for an MBA would be the GMAT. We accept the GRE, the executive assessment, but we also accept the MCAT, the LSAT, as well as the DTAT standardized tests. Any of those would be accepted. Now, you can also request a test waiver, but you have to fill out a form, submit your transcripts, as well as your resume, and you'd be considered by the committee to see if you can get a waiver. For those of you who are coming from an NYU undergrad program, you are in a great position. If you have a 3.2 or higher GPA, you can automatically get the test waived. The other standardized test that's required is proficiency in English test. So if your undergraduate was not taught in English, or if English is not your native language, that is another test that you would have to submit. And there is no waiver for that unless you actually are native speaker or your undergraduate was taught in English. Transcripts and proof of degree. So you are going to have to submit proof of conferral of the degree, as well as your grades, your marks from university. Professional information, that is going to be your resume. And then essays, we have 2 essays that you have to do and a 3rd optional essay. Those are all in the application. Once you can start an application now. You don't have to complete it, but you can get a sense by signing up, going in, the application is live, and get a sense of what you have to get prepared for. Because another requirement are 2 recommendation letters, preferably one from a current supervisor. If that is not possible, because, for example, you don't want your current boss to know that you might be leaving for an MBA, then you can tick a box saying, I'm not submitting one from my current supervisor, but here's one from another supervisor, and an application fee of $250 US. These are the deadlines. So the first deadline coming up for the January 2026 intake is on January 13, 2025. And that is one to note because that is what we call our priority deadline for merit scholarships that we do offer. But quickly, before I go on to the next slide, once you submit your application, about 4 weeks later, and in this case, February 13th, you will get a notification, initial notification, which can be either invitation to interview, and an interview is required for everyone who will be admitted, or sorry, no, you're not going to go for it. So it's either a deny or invitation to interview. Then 4 weeks after that, you get your final decision, which could be an offer, denial, or potentially a wait list. Second to the last slide, just as a summary, why Stern at NYU Abu Dhabi? It combines what we call the best of Stern, NYU, and Stern NYU Abu Dhabi. We are partnering with NYU Abu Dhabi, which has been here now for 14 years. So you become not only an alum of Stern and the wider Stern global network, but you also become an alum of NYU Abu Dhabi. And there are about 3,000 alumni from that program, mainly undergraduates, but it's an amazing program. I don't have time to go into how amazing that undergraduate program is and what it's become, but amazing. So combined, you get the best of those 2 institutions. It's a 1-year accelerated format. Less time out of the workforce is what also companies, if you're sponsored, also are hoping for less time away from work. Applied and contextual learning, that's Stern Signature project that I mentioned earlier. That is actually working on 2 different projects throughout the year on a real issue that the company has decided they want our students to work on. Leverages our global locations. You'll be here in Abu Dhabi, as I said. You also have a chance to go to our New York campus. Top faculty. That goes without saying that we have the top faculty, some of the top faculty in the world of business. Diverse community. We haven't finalized the class yet. That's starting in January 2025, but it's going to be a class of about 55 or so. But of the 55, we had 26 different passports, nationalities that are represented just in that 50 class of potentially 55 students. And on parallel career support, we have a dedicated careers management center that is going to be helping you to get to, what I started off with, to help you accelerate your career, make that pivot to something differently, but here for the region. Okay. For information and to get on our database and to get mailings about all the different activities we're having, we're traveling all over the region, the world, presenting in more detail what I just presented to you and having an opportunity to talk with us, either one-to-one or at one of these events. Sign up, QR code, and for you to just find out more about the program, I suggest you go to the website, which is also right on here. That's it.
That's great. Thank you so much, Arnie. What a really exciting opportunity to be part of an incoming cohort of a new program at an already established campus, which is really, really exciting. So thanks for sharing that. And we'll definitely ask you some more questions about that program as we go along. I'd now like to invite Hauj and Yao Yao from our NYU Shanghai campus to share their screens and give an overview of all the different programs that are available at their campus as well. So I'll turn it over to you all.
Thank you, Christy. Hi, everyone. I'm Yao Yao Zhang from NYU Shanghai.
Hi, everyone. My name is Haojie Li from NYU Shanghai. Thank you so much for having us. As we mentioned, we're from NYU Shanghai's Office of Graduate and Advanced Education, or OGAE for short. And today we'll be introducing 7 master's programs and 11 PhD programs that we jointly offer with NYU. All graduate from our master's and PhD programs will receive degrees from New York University. Just a little bit about NYU Shanghai. NYU Shanghai is China's first Sino-US research university and the 3rd degree granting campus of NYU Global Network. We were founded in 2012 by New York University and East China Normal University, ECNU, with the support of the city of Shanghai and the district of Pudong. This unique foundation highlights our commitment to fostering cross-cultural academic exchange and offering a global education experience. I think what sets NYU Shanghai apart is our deep integration into the academic, business, and social landscapes of China and broader Asia region. Students benefit from the best of both global hubs, immersing themselves in China's fast-growing markets while being part of NYU Global Network of this, 3 degree granting campuses and the global study sites.
So for those who are interested in pursuing a PhD degree, NYU Shanghai offers 11 programs in partnership with different NYU's academic departments and research centers, including Crown, NYU Tandon, Grad School of Art and Science, Wagner, Center of Data Science, etc., in the fields of biology, chemistry, computer science, data science, electrical engineering, mathematics, neuroscience, physics, public administration, sociology, and transportation systems. So for students, they will complete the coursework in New York and then return to Shanghai for dissertation research mentored by NYU Shanghai faculty. And our PhD program are fully funded through the NYU Shanghai Doctoral Fellowship. If you want to learn more in-depth information about the PhD program, we would highly encourage you to attend our upcoming PhD session on November the 2nd, as the admissions requirements would vary program by program. And this will be an excellent opportunity to learn more about the program structure, scholarship opportunities, and interact with the current students. So be sure to register by scanning the QR code provided.
Right, thank you, Yaya. Next, I'll be introducing the NYU Shanghai and NYU Stern Master's programs. So currently, NYU Shanghai and NYU Stern jointly offer 4 industry-focused Masters of Science programs for fresh graduates and young professionals who are interested in developing their career in Asia and China. These 4 Masters of Science programs are Data Analytics and Business Computing, DABC for short, Quantitative Finance, QF, Marketing and Retail Science, MRS, and Organization Management and Strategy, OMS. All 4 programs share some commonalities. Students start their program in the summer at NYU Stern in New York City and complete the following semesters and graduate at NYU Shanghai. Our students have the option to complete the total of 36 credits in either 12 or 20 months. As part of the curriculum, students will work in a small group on a capstone project on a real-world case provided by a company client. So the 12 months option is actually favored by students who want to start their post-graduation careers as soon as possible, whereas the 20-month option is favored by students who want to pace their education a little bit, do more research as a graduate student, and perhaps also take on internships in the summer and fall semester. Experiential learning is also a key feature integrated into our program. So students have the opportunity to meet with industry experts in the classroom or during the company visits. And the capstone project is also part of the experiential learning process we have. And one quick point to note is the QF Quantitative Finance program is a CFA affiliate program, which means students who study in this program will have the opportunity to apply for a CFA scholarship. And on the next slide, we'll be introducing admission, and requirements. So the admissions committee will review your application in a holistic way, and your application might be more academic or more professional in nature based on your current standing. For standardized tests, the GMAT or GRE score is not required, but is highly encouraged. All applications whose native language is not English or the degree were not received from a university degree taught by English must take the English test, either TOEFL or IELTS. So the minimum TOEFL score is 100 and the minimum IELTS score is 7. And we require 1 recommendation letter. Students entering the program are required to hold a bachelor's degree from the US or an equivalent degree from a foreign country. Applicants shall also submit a resume and essays. And the DABC and QF programs have pre-enrollment requirements. You can find those detailed requirement checklist on the website. And you can also see the deadlines on the right. So DABC and QF have a slightly different first 2 rounds of deadlines than the MRS and OMS programs. You can take a look at the chart. Also, after the deadline, you can, we also review the application by rolling basis, but we would recommend you to submit the application early. So here are the here is the contact information where you can reach us, as well as our official WeChat account and Red Xiaohongshu accounts. So some of those contents will be published in Chinese, but if you're on those social media platforms, you can scan the QR codes to follow us. Top right corner is our WeChat customer service account. You can chat with us from via WeChat as well. And we also encourage you to chat with our graduate ambassadors via the email provided on the left or on our website to get more information and learn more from our students' perspective.
Thank you, Haojie. The next program that would we would like to introduce is the Interactive Media Arts Program, which is IMA in short, which is jointly offered with NYU Tisch School of the Arts. And this program is an interdisciplinary master program that blends the technology, art, and design together. And this program is taught in a mixed mode with 3 in-person sessions in NYU, New York, Berlin, and then Shanghai, and 2 online sessions in between. So rooted in a culture of learning by doing, this program is project-based and workshop-oriented, drawing from the aspect of computer science, engineering, and design. As is taught both online and offline, the learning schedule is also friendly to both, recent graduates as well as the working professionals. So we welcome applicants from all the backgrounds. And here is a kind of overview of the application requirements listed for your reference. So we need a CV, video response, personal statement, 2 letters of recommendation, transcript, English language test, and creative portfolio. Even though it is set as optional, but we highly recommend to submit. And the primary deadline for this program is December the 15th. So if you are interested, feel free to check out our new website, follow us in Instagram, or reach out to us via the contact details. And we'll have an upcoming info session on November 14th, and feel free to join us. The next program we would like to introduce is the social work program. And this is the joint collaboration with the NYU Silver School of Social Work. It is the only American Master of Social Work program offered in China. So students will gain cross-cultural perspectives by studying in both Shanghai and New York, completing 900 hours of practice education. And this hands-on experience will prepare our students for clinical social work experience. And for this program, we offer 2 learning tracks. One is the full-time learning in 2 years. The first year will be in Shanghai, and the second year will be in New York. And the part-time track will be completed in 3 years, with first 2 years part-time learning in Shanghai, and the third year full-time learning in New York. So on the right side, you can find the application requirements with a personal statement, CV, 3 letters of recommendation, transcripts, English language test. So there are 2 deadlines. One is January the 10th. The next is February the 7th. So if you are interested, there will be 4 upcoming info sessions in this fall semester. So feel free to join us if you are interested. So the last program we would like to introduce is the TESOL, which is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. This is a 2-year program joint offered with NYU Stanford, which is designed to enhance your teaching skills and prepare you to be a leader in English education. So in this 2-year program, students will spend most of the time in Shanghai and then travel to NYU Stanford in the second summer for studying in New York. It combines theoretical training with practical teaching experience, equipping our graduates to work in the educational settings around the world. Here you can find the application requirements as well. So similar with other programs, you will need a statement of purpose, CV, 2 letters of recommendation, transcripts, English language test, and interview may be requested. So the deadline of TESOL program is January 15th. For TESOL, we'll host 3 info sessions from this November to January next year, and we'll welcome you to join us either in person or online if you are interested.
Right, thanks, Yaya. For more information about any of these programs we just mentioned, feel free to reach out to us via email or phone. You can also scan the QR codes throughout this PowerPoint to learn more about these resources and sign up for the webinars and info sessions to learn more about these programs in details. And this QR code on this side is actually our WeChat account. So if you're on WeChat, you can scan this QR code to follow us. And we look forward to connecting with you and helping you to navigate your academic journey here at NYU Shanghai. And thank you.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Yao Yao and Couch. I appreciate you giving that overview. It's really, really valuable. And definitely encourage everybody to connect and sign up for those info sessions if they want more information. I'd now like to invite Carl from NYU Abu Dhabi to join us. He's got some slides prepared as well to give an overview of the programs that are available beyond the Stern program that Arnie had talked about earlier. So Carl, I'll have you go ahead and take it away, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers. So for those attending, if you have questions, continue to put those in the Q&A and we'll get to those in just a bit. Carl, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thanks for being here tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are in the world. My name is Carl Klinkowitz, and I do work with the graduate programs here at NYU Abu Dhabi. I know Arnie has already talked to you a lot about our MBA program, but I'm going to let you know a little bit about the other offerings that we have at NYU Abu Dhabi. So starting with the master's programs that we have right now, we do offer an MFA in art and media. And so this program is intended for people who want to be a studio artist, or you want to go into arts and academia later on in your career. This is the only MFA program offered in the region, not just the UAE, but kind of the MENA region on the whole. And so this is a 2-year studio arts focused program. And, in this program, every student, we have a lot of emphasis on one-on-one instruction, one-on-one connection. You have your own personal studio space. In the program, you're going to be connecting with a lot of not just our great faculty who are here on campus, but artists who are coming in from around the world, who come into Abu Dhabi or Dubai as a kind of a major hub right now for the arts. NYU Abu Dhabi is located on Sadia Island, right across the street, more or less, is the Louvre Abu Dhabi, the Guggenheim Abu Dhabi that's opening soon. It's a great place to kind of come and get established as an artist if you want to be, or if you're interested in the global art scene that is happening. And so, yes, so this program, again, for studio artists who want to kind of grow their practice and get prepared for a career as an artist. And then I'll tell you about our global PhD fellowships. So these programs are collaborations with the campuses in New York, similar to many of the programs at NYU Shanghai that you've just heard about. Like, students will spend some time in New York and also spend time kind of finishing their research and dissertations in Abu Dhabi. So we currently partner with 2 schools for these programs in New York. One is the NYU Tandon School of Engineering, where we offer a number of programs in engineering, chemical, biomedical, electrical, computer science and engineering, mechanical, civil engineering, and then transportation systems is also being offered through NYU Tandon. And then with the NYU Graduate School of Arts and Science, we have biology, chemistry, computer science, physics, and psychology that are being offered. With all of these programs, students spend the first 1 to 2 years in New York completing the coursework, and then you are finishing your dissertation and your research in Abu Dhabi under the supervision of one of our faculty. Your primary supervisor will always be based in Abu Dhabi. You will likely collaborate with supervisors in New York, maybe even other schools around the world as well, but you always will be primarily supervised by somebody who's based here in Abu Dhabi. And you're considered an NYU student. When you're here with the PhD program, the degree that you're granted comes from NYU, the same as if you had spent all 4 years or 5 years in New York completing these programs. And so you're considered a student in New York. You have access to the resources there, but then we also have great resources in Abu Dhabi for you as you're completing your research and transitioning to your career after the program is done. So with the Global PhD Fellowship, just a few of the benefits that we have here. We cover all of the tuition costs for this program, and we do provide a $31,000 US annual stipend. We do have housing on campus in Abu Dhabi that we give to students. And then we do provide an additional stipend for housing in New York when you are studying there during those first 1 to 2 years that you have. We do cover the necessary program travel, so your flights between New York and Abu Dhabi, especially during those first years. We give you a relocation stipend and a research stipend, and then we do have competitive travel awards that are available every semester that you're in the program that you can apply for. We also, feel like it's very important that we are helping you get set up for your career afterwards. We don't just want to give you a fancy sheet of paper that says New York University on it, but we want to connect you to a job that's going to happen right now. So far, I'll knock on something that is here, but we've had 100% job placement at NYU Abu Dhabi for whether it's an academic career or a job in industry within 6 months of graduating. So we believe that we do a great job in preparing you for the next stage after you've completed your studies. And we do this, we have a career counselor that is on campus. This person will work with you throughout the program. We have workshops, whether it's for resume building, preparing you for your interview, public speaking workshops, grant writing workshops, all sorts of things that you can get involved with that will help just kind of build your CV or get you ready for applying for jobs after you've graduated. We do bring a lot of employers and other industry leaders to campus, whether that's on the academic side or on the industry side. And as of right now, our PhD students, because you are spending the significant time at the beginning of the program in New York, you are able to qualify for CPT or OPT opportunities by completing this program. We've had great job placements, both in academic positions, public and private sectors. Some of the places that our graduates have been employed, small companies like Amazon, Tesla, National Institute of Health in the UK. We've had great academic placements at places like University of Washington, University of Chicago, Florida State, lots of universities in the UAE as well. If you're interested in kind of coming here, staying here, and making a career in Abu Dhabi or Dubai afterwards. So just to give you a quick overview on how to apply. So for the MFA program, the priority application deadline is February 15th, 2025. There is no application fee for this program. It's submitted directly through our NYU Abu Dhabi website. There are a few other requirements that you'll see on there, depending on whether, we do require IELTS or TOEFL. If you have completed whether it's your master's degree or a undergraduate degree where the language of instruction was English, you can get a waiver for that test requirement, but everyone does need to submit for the MFA program an artist portfolio. This is a collection of 20 images or videos or kind of representations of your work. And you can see what you need to do for that portfolio is listed very clearly on our website. There is funding available for the MFA program. We do have merit and needs-based scholarships. They can cover up to 100%, but I would say on average, we're looking at somewhere between 30 and 80% of the tuition costs. We do have some limited student employment opportunities, whether it's through our office in the graduate programs or through the Arts and Humanities Division that we have there. And we do offer some on-campus housing available, or we offer some on-campus housing. If you would like to take advantage of that, this is available at a reduced cost. And for our PhD applications, these are submitted through the NYU partner schools, either through NYU Tandon or NYU GSAS. You would just need to click the box as you're filling out the application to indicate that you're interested in the Abu Dhabi campus. For most of these programs, the application deadline is December 1st, coming up in just a few weeks. Here, some of them, computer science and physics, are a little bit later than December 1st, but for the most part, December 1 is the deadline. All the requirements are listed on the NYU webpage. I know 2 of the engineering programs require the GRE, Civil Engineering and Transportation Systems. None of the other programs require the GRE. Similar to the MFA program, we do require TOEFL or IELTS. You can also potentially get a waiver for those based upon the previous degrees that you've completed if they've been in English. So that is the end of my presentation very quickly. I hope, if you do have questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A or raise them after we're done with our presentations, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So thanks. Christy, I'll turn it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carl. That was really helpful. I know I'm learning a lot from this session as well. So thank you for that overview. So now I'm going to turn it over to ask you some questions as panelists, both questions that we're seeing in the Q&A and some prepared questions that I have. And the first one is a sort of very specific question about housing. And I wondered if you could each talk a little bit about if housing is available for graduate students. On the New York campus, our stock answer is housing is very limited for graduate students. But I'm curious if you could talk a little bit more about what housing looks like on your campuses or for your specific programs. Carl, I'll have you go ahead and get started and then we'll circle around.
Yeah, yes, I can start with that. So for all of our PhD programs, we provide you with on-campus housing if you are admitted to those programs. And the housing that you're provided with changes dependent upon your family size. So we have studios, we have one-bedroom apartments, we have two-bedroom apartments that we allocate, based on whether you're single, whether you have a partner or you're married, or whether you have children that are here. For the MFA program, most the students who join this program have access to a couple of different housing options. Most of them live in a two-bedroom apartment where you have your own private bedroom, your own private bathroom, but you share the kitchen and living space with one other student, another graduate student that is there. We do have studios and one bedrooms that are available at kind of an increased cost compared to this shared two-bedroom option. So most of our students, again, use that option, but you're not required to live on campus as a master's student. But most of our ones who are coming from outside of the UAE choose to take us up. It's kind of the easiest and most cost-efficient option to live in the UAE while you're doing this program.
That's helpful. Arnie, for your program, is that any different, or is your housing options similar? Do you provide housing for students?
So we do have, so it's up to the MBAs where they want to live. We don't require them to live on campus, so they can find campus off campus. We do have a limited number of rooms available in the graduate housing buildings. So that is an option, but that is not available to everyone. So this is going to be a mix of people living on campus, small percentage on campus, and others just living in the number of different options that they have available here in Abu Dhabi.
Great, that's really helpful. Thank you. And then for the Shanghai campus, what's the housing situation look like there?
Right. So for our campus, similar as New York is a big city, so we don't require our students to stay in dormitory, in dorms, but we do have our NYU Shanghai dorm available to our graduate students. Students can apply in the beginning, and we can situate our students in the dorm room. And the dorm is actually quite close to campus. It's about 10 minutes drive. We have on-campus shuttles. Takes our students from the dorm to the campus. And as you may know, Shanghai is quite a big city. So our students might also take advantage of the city and live off campus on the west side of the river, Puxi side, or the east side of the river, Pudong side as well. So it's really up to our students.
That's great. Thank you for providing that overview. The next question I had, and you all sort of talked and touched about financial aid, but I was wondering if you could go into a little bit more detail into what that application process might look like in terms of, is there a separate application? What are average amounts? And Carl, you gave, I think, a good overview. And Arnie, you put a good answer in the chat. So maybe I'll just have you reread your answer from the chat. But for Yao and Houch, if you could talk a little bit about scholarships and financial aid that are available for your students.
Sure. For our programs, since as we introduced, programs are quite different. So for our PhD programs, there are 4 scholarships available, just similar to other programs we just heard from our partners schools. And so scholarships is one, and stipends is also available for our PhD students. And for our master's program is so the IMA, International Media Arts Program, TESOL, and MSW programs have departmental scholarships available where students can apply in the application process. And particularly for the NYU Shanghai, NYU Stern Master's programs, we have the merit-based Dean Scholarship. And this scholarship have more information, which is either quarter tuition, and there are also half tuition scholarships for this one particularly. And students can apply during the application process, and there are detailed instructions in the application portal. And also for the quantitative finance program, since, as I mentioned, it's a CFA affiliate program, students who study in quantitative finance program will have the opportunity to apply for the CFA scholarship.
And there's an additional, just one slide adds on. So there's additional benefits exclusive to the NYU Shanghai program, including the international health insurance and housing assistance, and also the travel funds for the PhD program as well.
Great, thank you. Anything to add, or Carl, regarding, I feel like we sort of covered this across the Abu Dhabi campus, but if there's anything else to add, please feel free.
No, again, just to repeat as you said, I wrote in the chat, we only have merit-based scholarships. We do not have need-based scholarships, so you don't have to fill out the CSS or whatever form that needs to be filled out these days. And it is not a separate application for your merit-based scholarship. Your program application is what determines if, one, you get in, first of all, but then if you qualify for a merit scholarship, and then how much.
Got it.
And
Great.
the other key point is that maximum is potentially 100% of tuition fees. So you still need to consider how you're going to fund your living expenses, which, currently we estimate to be about 38 to 40,000 USD.
Got it. That's helpful. Not to shift gears again and go back to housing, but I have one follow-up question about for programs that are based either in Abu Dhabi or Shanghai, but have immersions in New York. Is there assistance for folks finding housing in New York, or what does that process look like? Or are they just looking like all the other New York interns when they're here in the summer?
So for our summer session in New York, again, they can choose where they want to live. And in some cases, we've been told their families are going to come with them, so they're going to go find a larger flat. Otherwise, we do have access to some graduate housing for potentially all of our students that will be coming there. So that we're lucky in that regard, I think. But that you do have to pay for that separately as well. So that is what I meant by living expenses being separate from the tuition.
Got it.
Yeah, I can touch base for our PhD programs. We do not have kind of this guaranteed on-campus housing that we do in Abu Dhabi during the 1 or 2 years that you are located in New York completing your coursework. We do give you this extra stipend. We work closely with our partners in New York to help prepare you for the housing search. Many of our students choose, during the orientation times, they meet other students in the program, they choose the room together while they're in New York as well. So far, I don't think anybody I know has slept on the subway. Everyone has found standard housing somewhere in New York that fits. And it's different too, because if you're in GSAS programs, most of your coursework is located near Washington Square, where if you're in the engineering programs, the coursework is out in Brooklyn. And so students, then choose depending on kind of the ease of access to those campuses and, other things, what kind of housing they want to search for. But we do help you with this, but we don't just have like, oh, here's your assigned room in New York when you sign up. Like you do have to kind of find your own housing while you are there.
Right. So for our programs, particularly the NYU Shanghai, NYU Stern Master's programs, we spend the first summer semester in New York, and the program actually reserve numbers of rooms of NYU housing, so students can apply for those rooms at the dorm. And there are also students who want to live off campus, which is also available. students can choose where to live. Some I learned from our students like to live in New Jersey. Some like to live in Manhattan. Students can take their choices.
Yeah, and for housing in Shanghai, so before the orientation, we'll offer two resources to students. One is the on-campus housing, just like the information that Haoze has introduced before, and the other is off-campus housing, with generally a kind of a list for those students who want to rent outside of the campus in Shanghai, with different, house searching website, as well as the nearby hotels as well. So normally this kind of information will go to students both through the welcome email from different programs, and also starting from the next year, we'll do a kind of cross-program welcome online session, which is for those students well, the main purpose is for those students to get to know how to search for housing in Shanghai before they arrive or travel to China. We'll hold that kind of online session starting from next year. Yeah.
Great. Thank you all very much. That's super helpful. And in our remaining 10 minutes, I want to transition a little. We've talked a lot about the logistics, the details of the program. So I wanted to pull it back a little bit and talk and ask for your advice or insights for someone who is at either the beginning of their search or sort of just starting their search process. And what advice you have for them in terms of researching programs or working on their application or things to consider as they're starting their graduate school journey. So I'll ask that really broad question and then allow you to answer that, and then we'll wrap things up. So to summarize, because that was kind of a wordy and long question, what advice do you have for folks who are beginning to think about grad school? What should they be factoring into their application? What should they be thinking about big picture? Arnie, you're unmuted. Would you like to start?
Sure. Really quickly, with an MBA, as I said earlier on, the big reason why someone is going to do an MBA is about their career, post-MBA career aspirations. So with that in mind, really think thoroughly about what your career goals are. Not just about like where you want, what you want to be doing, what companies, but importantly, especially for our program, is the Middle East, region, someplace you want to work. If in fact that is not the case, then this program is not for you. Right. So again, that is really something you need to think about. On the other hand, if you're looking to go and work, say, in London, then you should be considering maybe schools that are MBA programs that are based in London. Typically, if there's a region that you really want to work in, schools in that region are kind of things that you should consider. And then once you have that laid out, like what your end goal is, then start doing research about the various schools, location, and look beyond just the rankings. The rankings might give you maybe a short list, but look beyond that. Read the websites. And one of the don'ts I think in terms of advice is don't ask a question of the admissions staff that you could easily get the answer off the website. We're all really nice. We'll still answer your email really nicely and politely, but if that's something you could have easily pulled off the website, and then you're wasting your time as well as the admissions team's time on more kind of on things that could help you and go further on. So talk to alumni in terms of your research, current students, and then find out what makes the program unique. And then finally, once you know what makes a program unique and what makes that program different, your application should be mainly focused on how are you going to be taking advantage of what makes that program unique and kind of crafting your story with the uniqueness and what makes that program special, right? So that's what you should do. And your application should not be so generic where you can replace school name with anyone. And then, we see a lot of that. So try to avoid that if you can. And really, so that will come from your research in terms of what really makes them unique and how you're going to take advantage of what makes that program or that school unique. I'll stop there.
Thanks. That's really helpful. Carl, I saw that you unmuted. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I can echo a lot of the same, with our programs here as well. With the MFA program and our PhD programs, a lot of these are faculty-driven programs. Like when you're working in, when you're joining these programs, specifically in the PhD program, you're going to be working with a specific faculty member for 4 to 5 years. And so like in your application process or in your application, you should be indicating, exactly why, not just NYU Abu Dhabi, in this region and this university draws you, but why specific faculty you'd want to work with. And because that's where, when we're going to make our admission decisions, it's more going to be about how do your research interests align with faculties, and you're going to be spending 4 to 5 years working for this person. So you want to make sure that's a good fit on both sides as you're applying. So that's the main thing that I would just encourage is to make sure that you take some time, go on our webpage, look at, on our PhD websites, you can see there's a tab that's people on every single page that will list all of the faculty who can supervise PhD students. Look at their research. You can reach out to their email. The faculty email will be listed there as well. You're welcome to reach out to faculty to try to ask them some questions about what it would be like to join their research groups, to join their labs, and make sure that you're very well informed, and you can articulate very clearly when you submit your application, like exactly why this campus and this program is the best fit for you.
Thank you. Yeah, go right ahead.
Thanks. Really want to thank our colleagues in Abu Dhabi, just shared so much wonderful tips and advice. We want to echo just the same. It's really I'm sending our website in the chat so our audience can click and review our programs in details. So we really encourage you to take a look at different programs we have and faculty who is teaching in those programs. Also the curriculum, program structure, how much time you're spending in New York, how much time you're spending in Shanghai. And so those information are quite important. So really understand, is this something you want to, to do? And also I would suggest, if you really want to learn more, you can contact the admissions officer from the contact information we provided. And also, particularly for the NYU Shanghai NYU STEM Masters programs, we have a wonderful team of student graduate ambassadors. They share, fresh opinions and perspectives from the current students' perspective. So also, take advantage of that as well. And I also want to say, in your application, just to show who you are, the authentic you, not a genetic application, like Arnold said. Really, and if there is an optional essay part in the application, we would also suggest you to use that and take advantage and provide any additional information you may have you want to share with the admissions committee.
Yeah, and also the fall season is really a kind of info session season in Shanghai. So you can find in each weekend there are lots of info session happens both for graduate students, graduate programs and the undergrad programs. So we really welcome you to join our info session online or in person if you are interested in one of the programs.
Thank you all so much. I really can't thank you enough for taking the time, especially for the Shanghai folks for staying late, for New York team getting up early. I think this has been really valuable in getting a better understanding of the global opportunities that are available through NYU and the opportunity to both study in New York and in Abu Dhabi or Shanghai. Your advice for the application process, I think making sure that I loved the line that you gave, Arnold, about if you can copy and paste this to another school, you probably aren't doing it right. And your point about going to those info sessions, that's where you get the information to tailor your application. So continuing to come to more of these, keeping your eye out for other events that are happening both in New York and in Shanghai and Abu Dhabi. So again, thank you so much to our panelists. We really appreciate the insights that you were able to provide. Thank you to our attendees for joining us today. You will receive that follow-up email, so you'll have access to our team, and then we can help connect you to any of the folks here on the call if you have additional questions that we weren't able to get to in the chat. And thank you to April Maimuna and my team for helping to answer those questions. And just have a good rest of your evening, your day, your afternoon, and we appreciate the time. Take care, everybody, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.